Until the 19th of May, Iran's future was sealed in ink. A hardliner in power, a supreme leader who approved of him, and a succession plan in place. But then, fate dealt Iran a different hand. Its president, Ebrahim Raisi, died in a helicopter crash, and the country was left with a power vacuum. The question was, who would take over? Iran was supposed to hold elections in 2025, but with its president dead, elections had to be held within 50 days. So the date is fixed. The elections will be held on June 28th. 6 candidates have been approved, 5 conservatives and a relative reformist. So let's look at them one by one. The first is General Mohammad Bakr Ghalibaf. He has quite the resume. He is the current Speaker of the Iranian Parliament. He is a former mayor of Tehran. He's also a former commander of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard. Plus, he is close to Khamenei. But this is not his first time running for president. Ghalibaf has done it before, twice. He was unsuccessful in those attempts. Also, he faces allegations of corruption.
All the government organizations are on one side, and the diplomacy organization is on the other side. It needs to solve the sanction problem and lift the sanctions, put effort into it. We have a specific program for that which needs to follow that step by step.
The second is Saeed Jalili. He's a member of Iran's Expediency Discernment Council. He's a former chief nuclear negotiator. Jalili ticks a lot of boxes too. He is close to the supreme leader. He used to be close to Raisi. He has the support of the establishment. He has the backing of the Revolutionary Guards.
I was one of the nuclear negotiators myself. I was aware of the process and we pursued it, but we were on the path of defending people's interests and rights, not destroying them. And whatever our nuclear scientists have provided will be sent abroad.
Currently, these two are the frontrunners, Jalili and Ghalibaf, but there are others in the race. Former Justice Minister Mustafa Pur Mohammadi, one of Raisi's vice presidents, Amir Hossein Ghazizadeh Hashemi, and Tehran Mayor Ali Reza Zaghani.
The economic problems of Iran are not the sanctions. It is not the cruel sanctions of America. It is the United States prescriptions for the economy.
And lastly, the wild card in this race, Dr. Masoud Pezeshkian. He is trained as a cardiac surgeon. He served in the parliament. He was former health minister. So why then is he the wild card? Because Pezeshkian is a reformist, the only reformist candidate among the 6.
Just the way we can talk to each other, we can also learn to talk to our neighbors and rest of the world. We cannot fight everyone. We should not fight. We should not show aggression to others.
You see, Iran's presidential candidates are chosen by a body called the Guardian Council. The body wields a lot of power in Iran. Every election year, it rejects candidates that don't suit its goals. This year was no different. There were some famous rejections, including former President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. But the Guardian Council approved of Pezeshkian, a decision that came as a shock to many. So, does he have any chances of winning? It's unlikely. The reformist movement is quite weak in Iran. It is weaker due to crackdowns by the hardline system, so Pezeshkian may not win. But he could have a fighting chance if the vote gets split between conservative favorites Jalili and Ghalibaf.
We must break this dam of sanctions. We must ruin those who benefit from sanctions, those who benefit thousands of billions from these sanctions, and nobody knows. We will stand against them.
But will this election bring any change to Iran? The elections come at a crucial time for Iran. There's turmoil in West Asia, punishing international sanctions, a staggering economy, domestic discontent, voter apathy. In Iran's last parliamentary elections, the voter turnout was around 41%, the lowest since the Islamic Republic's founding in 1979.
First of all, jobs need to be available for all young people according to their education. And also housing is very worrying and problematic for young couples. There are many other things like the right to free speech.
The first priority is the economy, and if we want to mention it in particular, it is the stability of the economy, the prevention of inflation and the containment of inflation and the growth of production. These are the three main issues.
There's also anger over the death of Mahsa Amini. She was killed in 2022 after not adhering to Iran's hijab rules. Protests broke out across the country after her death. The government responded with a strong crackdown. Protesters were jailed, some were hanged. Demonstrations have since died down. But the strong anti-government sentiment still remains intact.
Near the time of the election, the hijab will be taken less seriously, but when the vote is over, things will go back to the way they were. The young people cannot remove their headscarves.
But even with the elections, not much will change. You see, in Iran, the president is not the head of state. The ultimate authority is the supreme leader. That's 85-year-old Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. As long as he's alive, Iran's political path will likely remain the same. But the president does play an important role. He directs government policies. He has a say in foreign policy. So the position does matter. But more than the presidency, it's about Iran's image. Its hardline establishment needs to show that it can deal with the death of a president and still function like business as usual. If a candidate close to the establishment wins, it's a win for the leadership, which is why Khamenei has called the upcoming vote a big deal. He urged Iranians to participate in great numbers. The results will be out by June 30th. If no candidate gets the majority, it could lead to a runoff election. Could the elections lead to some change in Iran? Or will the regime only tighten its grip on power? We'll find out by the end of this month.